NBA Finals is here tonight, and I'll be at work watching it. Sadly, tonight we have Thunder Pacers game one. That's beautiful to say. I mean, the series is here, and we've been waiting for it for what, a week? Because both teams decided to handle business in like 6 games. Well, 5 games for the Thunder, but hey, we're here though. So what are we expecting in game one?
I expect Halliburton to get a little bit exposed on offense because he has the best guard in the league guarding him now. And I've been saying it from the start. Halliburton versus Shea. No guard in the league right now. Not even not even Steph on some occasions. Okay. Shea can
Like
lock up
swallowing a nail that you just said.
I know. Shea can guard anybody. I've been saying it. Ant didn't stand a chance. Ja didn't stand a chance. Jamal Murray had a horrible series towards the end of the series. He didn't stand a chance. I'm trying to tell you, there's something about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander when he's on ball guarding another guard, and they just have a horrible game because he knows exactly what to do. He knows how to gap him up. He knows how to get in their face and make sure they don't get the shot up. He knows how to disrupt plays, and it doesn't help that he has Lou Dort and Jay Williams on the wings helping him out for the other team. It doesn't help them at all. So I feel like Hallie's going to get exposed tonight. I feel like Siakam, the only way they'll win this series is if Siakam is on point the entire series, and I think that's their most important player. I've been saying that since they beat the Bucks, that Siakam is their most important player. Now Hallie is the face of their team, but we can't ignore what Siakam's been doing, man. He's always guarding the better player. I don't think he will this series because Shea's the better player. So Hallie's going to have to take that unless they put Naismith on him, which I don't think they can do because they have so many other weapons. They have Jay Williams. You know what I'm saying? They're deeper than the Pacers, and we haven't been able to see that this entire playoffs because no other team in the East is deeper than them. So the West team, the Thunder being that deep is going to be an issue for the Pacers. And I think that a lot of people are going to get exposed, and we're going to see a lot of great basketball regardless tonight, even if Hallie has a bad game. So I think Shea's going to put up a 30 ball tonight, have fun first game. I think they're going to win their first 2 games and then lose game 3, maybe game 4. But I ultimately think he's going to be done in 5 or 6. So
the Thunder are the second youngest team since 1954, since the 1954-55 season to make the finals. The other teams, the youngest was 1976 and 77 Trailblazers. They had an average age of 25 and 25 years in 03, I think, but 3 months. The Thunder this year are 25 and half in 6 months. So that is insane.
yeah, man. Are you talking about Carlisle, the best coach? Look what Dagnall's doing with all these young bucks. I'm telling you, man, that's different.
I mean, the development on that Thunder team has been crazy too. No one, at least when he was drafted, no one expected J-Dub to turn into the player that he's been. Hartenstein's really came along on both the boards and on offense. He's good at those like hook shots.
Don't forget Lou Dort. Don't forget the all-world defensive player right there.
I'm not done yet. But Shea in the fleece of the century from the Clippers in that Paul George trade. My goodness. Oh. Casey Wallace developing into a great defender. Aaron Wiggins off the bench. Isaiah Joe. I mean, if you want to throw in the other Jalen Williams too, just the entire roster. Chad. This is the one team in the league that I think has more depth than Indiana, and it's more quality depth too. So, and they're going to be the one team that I think can run with them because Indy's been able to just run all the other teams they've faced off the floor so far, and it's really just it's going to be wrapped pretty much right away. I think OKC takes game 1, game 2, and game 3. Indy takes game 4 because for some reason they're really good in game 4s, and then OKC closes them out in 5. Series Rap City USA, OKC first championship.
Yeah, I think OKC might win in 7 because we sleeping on this Thunder team a little too hard. Because
you mean Pacers?
Yeah, the Pacers. Yeah, they're battle tested. They've been battle tested. I just think in a game 7, I would probably have to pick the Thunder because of the MVP and what he has around him. They're just bigger and things like that. But we can't think like no slouch. Like this Pacers team is a no joke. Like they 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 took down the Giannis Bucks, which they were supposed to lose to. They took down the Cleveland Cavaliers in 5, and they just beat the Knicks in 6, in which they should have swept them. So that's
What? Hold on, wait. Hold on, wait. Okay, wait. Let me. All right.
the Indiana Pacers could have easily swept the New York Knicks. They just gave Game 3 away.
Bro.
Yeah, but they lost Game 5 by like 20 points.
Game 1, they should not
when I
have
say
won.
swept, those first 4 games is what?
But they should have lost Game 1 at the same time.
Game 1 should have. That was it was because you said it. You said it was the luckiest shot we've ever seen. That was.
Hey, but it went in.
It went in. But bro, it should have been tied 2-2 at one point. It should not have been swept. That's ridiculous because now you're sleeping on the Knicks, and the Knicks are not a bad
sleeping
team.
on the Knicks. I'm saying from what the results were the first 2 games, if Indiana would have taken care of business in Game 3 and they would have played Game 4 well, they would have been swept.
The thing is about Game 1, 2, they had to literally be perfect in those last 2.5 minutes, and every single thing went their way. If New York just made their free throws in those last 10 seconds, which you can't 100% fault them for, missed free throws happen, they lose.
No, I'm not saying that the Pacers should have swept them simply because of talent. I'm simply saying they should have swept them because of what the results were the first 2 games. And then Game 3 and 4, they just basically gave Game 3 away.
See, the word you said is battle tested. The 2-word whatever you said, battle tested. And Series 1 against the Bucks, they were not battle tested because Giannis was still dropping 40 on them every game, and Dame didn't play very well. And when he got injured towards Achilles, and Series 2, they have 3 Cavs starters out. Pretty much the majority of the series. Donovan Mitchell still dropping 40. Imagine if he had his other 3 counterparts, Garland, Mobley, and Jared Allen playing well and healthy. In the next series, yes, they won that series. I'm not gonna sit here and act like they weren't battle. I mean, they weren't really battle tested that series either. This is the real test. Like, can you beat the best team in the league? They're playing the best team in the league. They have not played a team this constructed this entire playoff series. I'm not saying that they're a bad team. But saying they're battle tested is a little bit of a reach to me, considering they have not played a full, healthy, like constructed team like this before. Like, if they played the Cavs full health, I wholeheartedly believe the Cavs win that in 6 or 7 games. I don't think they can. That team was just as deep as this Thunder team, just a little bit less to this degree. But to say they were battle tested, I think that's a little bit of a reach. I think the Thunder, they're just better, bro. Like, they're just better than any team that they've faced so far. Obviously, because they're in the finals as well. But they just beat Jokic, the arguable MVP this season. Obviously, he's lost, but everyone thought he should have won it. You know, they beat a young Grizzlies team who was a top 4 seed the entire year until they fired their coach, which
Ja Morant was injured as well.
Ja Morant was injured, yes, but they fired their coach. That's the biggest part about this entire thing. If they didn't fire their coach, the Grizzlies would have been a top 3 seed. Okay. And then they just beat the rising superstar Anthony Edwards, who no one was really injured that series. That team was on fire the entire playoffs, then faced the Thunder and lost all motion, all types of motion. I mean, not Anthony Edwards, the team. I just don't think the Pacers have been battle tested like this before, bro. This team is completely different than anything they've probably ever seen this entire playoffs or in any of those players' entire career. It's besides Siakam. Siakam played the 2019 Warriors, 2018 Warriors, whatever. But this is completely different. I don't think they've been battle tested until now. I think they I'm not saying they got off easy. They obviously they got here with some hard games, but battle tested is a reach for me, man.
I would not say that they aren't battle tested because I think playing against New York was definitely a test, playing in the Garden, the atmosphere being crazy and whatnot. However, I'll go back to this again. I don't think it's a good matchup for them at all. It just doesn't doesn't make any sense for me to pick Indy in this series because I think they band for band, OKC just is able to hang with them in a way that none of those other teams like the Bucks, they can't run with Indy. The Cavs couldn't run with Indy because they were so injured. And the Knicks couldn't run with them specifically just because they're not as much of a fast break team. OKC can run with Indy and they can hang with them. They can get sped up and still be fine.
I agree.
And the Pacers can also play defense and run with OKC.
Not like that though, bro. Not to that degree though.
Not OKC's defense is just at a different level from where Indy is at.
I'm not sleeping on anything. This is one of the best defenses we've seen in the past decade from a team, bro. Statistically, look it up. Like this team has like what two all defensive players on their team, and then the MVP who averages 2 steals per game. This is completely different than what we've seen. I'm not saying that the Pacers don't play defense, but you cannot sit here and compare the Pacers defense to the Thunder defense. It's completely different.
I could compare the Pacers offense to the Thunder's defense. The Pacers offense is probably one of the hottest in the league since January.
And what is the Thunder? The Thunder's
has the second hottest.
Shea has the most 30, 40, and 50 games this year. And Jalen Williams is an automatic offensive bucket considered, and also Chet is a bucket as well. Bro, it's just you see what I'm trying to say? Like they match up, like the matchup for Pacers is just not good because the Thunder are just a little bit higher. Like the Pacers are here, the Thunder a few steps ahead of them, bro. It's different levels to this, bro. I don't think that they can compare on either offensive or defensive scale. I don't think that's even a conversation to me, bro.
I mean, one could argue maybe that Indy hangs around on offense compared to the Thunder, but it's the Thunder's defense that's going to be the X factor in this series, like we've been saying. Indy's offense is fantastic, but they've been able to generate a lot of open shots and great fast break looks, but I think that ends in this game because the Thunder just have so many great wing defenders that are able to shut down those perimeter opportunities. I think, though, if Indy's probably going to try and pick on Hartenstein a little bit, potentially on the perimeter in this series. So Miles Turner might have a bit of a bigger role on offense, but we'll see.
That's the thing. He's not a Brook Lopez. He's not I mean, Jared Allen was great on the perimeter, but I mean, he's not a Brook Lopez or Mitchell Robinson or even Cat in some situations. Bro, Hartenstein can play at perimeter. He's been able to do that all year. He's adapted to this team system, and having Chet out there as well, he can play anywhere on defense. So
I mean, if you need, you could switch Chet onto Turner and switch. Just there's so much you can do, and if Hartenstein isn't the best matchup, you could sub someone else in off the bench to try small ball, something like that. There's just so many different ways you can go with that team.
We'll see. I mean, it'd be very interesting to see for sure because Rick Carlisle is he's proven as a coach to win in the finals, and he's beaten teams that was better than him. That was supposed to be the Miami Heat. Sure, it was their first year together, but they were hands down athletically better than the Mavericks that year, and they beat them. So that's why I can't really say that when you people were sleeping on the Dallas Mavericks when they won their championship too. Everybody was like, "Oh, the Miami Heat is going to dog walk." I mean, it's not even going to be close. And Dirk Nowitzki showed up and dropped probably averaged like 30.
But there's no Dirk Nowitzki on this Indy team, though. That's the difference. Siakam is not Dirk Nowitzki. He's a great player.
Wait, you telling me he can't average 30?
He's not an all-time great or anything.
He's not averaging 30 on this team. No, absolutely not. He can't
average 25, 30 points.
He can
25 maybe, but even then it's
maybe. Like 30 is ridiculous against
this. They're going to have to get to at least probably 110 points to win most of these games.
Indy is.
They're going to have to outscore Indy or OKC because they're not going to beat them on the other
end. Tyrese Halliburton can't average 20?
Of course, he will average 20.
That's 45.
It's not about those two getting their numbers. It's about everyone else on the team getting theirs. Who says Andrew Nembhard drops 20? It probably won't happen. You're not going to get as many of those sensational performances from role players in this series, specifically because there's not a real defensive liability on this Thunder team for them to exploit.
So you said that Tyrese Halliburton can't average 20, and
I said he can average 20.
Siakam could average 25, so that's 45 right there between two players. And Dirk Nowitzki was really the only offensive threat that the Mavericks had.
But look at the other side now, bro. This is a complete team. That Heat team had the big three. It's a complete team now. That Heat team wasn't fully complete. Okay,
there were some depth issues on that team.
There's a lot of depth issues on that team. This is a complete team, head to toe, starter, bench, coach.
I just can't on the Pacers, bro. I'm just telling you, I just can't.
I'm not necessarily sleeping on them. I'm just saying, like, being realistic. This team, this is probably the worst matchup that they're going to get so far. They haven't played a perennial point guard besides maybe Jalen Brunson, who was competing with Halliburton but couldn't keep up because his teammates weren't really making shots with him. Okay, and now we get the MVP, who has shut down every other point guard that we've seen all year. I mean, what else? What else can he do? Yes, Hallie's going to average probably realistically like 18 and 10 maybe.
I'm just saying they got the experience to win. So, they got Siakam. Siakam has been there. They have
Caruso's been there. Everybody else is young, but they're better. Who is Siakam better than in the starting five on the Thunder besides like Lou Dort offensively?
He's better than Hartenstein, but like that's not even his. He's not meant to be like a primary scorer. He's their center rebounder.
Right.
You tell me Siakam can't go toe to toe with Jalen Williams?
I mean, he can.
Think about that before you say it.
The thing about that is the difference between Shea's output and Halliburton's output as the like first options per se. If we're gonna compare Halliburton and J-Dub as the second option, that's fine. But then we're gonna put Halliburton in the first option slot, and Shea just has so much more of an impact. He's probably gonna average 30 to 35 all series, whereas Halliburton's gonna give you that 18 to 20.
So you said there's no possible way that you could see even Neesmith slowing down.
No.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
No, he's going to get fouled out. That's the fact. That's the issue. Also, if you're gonna guard Shai, you better know how to not foul him. That's a fact. You know that. You've seen it. Everybody complains about it all the time.
You think Carlisle know that?
I hope he does.
I think he's gonna be throwing bodies at him all game.
Foul. Put a hand on him. Foul. Sneeze on him. Foul. What is he gonna do? Get to the line and
let him get to the line, but then you don't have Jalen Williams and Isaiah Joe smacking threes. Dort hitting threes.
Why not? Why not?
Because he's at the foul line.
They do it anyways. They at the foul line,
but they're making 2 for 2 almost every trip. Though.
Yeah, bro, they go for that's 2 points every possession, pretty much. Like
so Siakam can't play defense.
You need to get stops against this.
I didn't say he can play defense on Jalen Williams, but let's be real here. Like Jalen Williams is having a spectacular like few seasons here. And I can only imagine if he has a bad series, then yes, then the Pacers probably have the better advantage because the second option is out. But
I'm just telling you that it's more likely that you can see this being a dogfight.
Right, but okay, but then if that's the case, then Lou Dort's gonna lock down Siakam. Like it's that simple. Siakam's not as good as Luka. You know what I'm saying? Lou Dort
in the mid range.
Yes,
Lou Dort's defense is phenomenal.
Bro, he's an all-defensive player. What do you mean? Even Caruso's a former. He was a Bull. Caruso is a former all-defensive player. He can do that too. This is what I'm saying. The depth issues on this team is going to be an issue for the Pacers.
We'll see what happens. We'll see.
I mean, even Cason Wallace is a little shorter, but he's another one of those guys that can lock down some of the offensive weapons, like a Nembhard or a Neesmith, where it's just going to be so much tougher for them to get good looks, which is what they've been able to do to create in that Knicks series. Neesmith was able to throw up his prayers all that fourth quarter because he was able to get good looks the entire time. I don't think there's going to be those opportunities against this OKC team.
Shooters and field goal percentage wise, he was throwing up prayers.
Who?
He said he just said that Neesmith was throwing up prayers and they were going in, but
at the end of the fourth, a lot of those were prayers.
Yeah, those are not design plays.
He was double clutching some of those,
bro. Like
Steph Curry double clutch before he hits it.
Come on, bro. It's Curry.
Aaron Neesmith is not Steph Curry.
I'm just telling you, Aaron Neesmith has one of the best. Is probably the best 3-point field goal percentage in the league
in the playoffs.
I think that ends here. Okay, he just has too much perimeter defense.
It warrants for something, but it's not consistent. He don't do that every game. He did that one game, and it won them the game. Okay, like yes, he's going to make some great shots probably, but that's not going to be enough if no one else is able to get to the rim at an efficient rate. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, just take example what they did to the Timberwolves. Everybody thought the Timberwolves, including myself, that the Timberwolves are going to win that series, and they got completely shut down. I thought
I did not.
I'm saying though, a bunch of people thought the Timberwolves would win purely off of their aggressiveness at attacking the rim. What do you think the Pacers do all the time? They attack the rim with Halliburton. They attack the rim with Siakam. Yes, they can hit some shots, but that's the Thunder's specialty is perimeter defense. We saw that last series. You saw the series before that, bro. The Nuggets couldn't hit a shot in Game 7. Even Jokic was struggling. The Grizzlies got swept, or gentlemen swept, whatever it was. Man, listen, man, the matchup is an issue. The matchup is going to be an issue. There's no way I can see the Pacers winning this series unless it's in 7 games, unless Shea and J-Dub and Chet all have horrible games within a stretch of, those last few games. If the Pacers win, they win in 7, but if the Thunder win, they got to win in 5 or 6. I don't see it going past that if they win. It's going to come down to the wire last game regardless. So
if they play their way and they have their way against the Thunder, they could win in 6.
That's a big if, though. That's the thing. I mean,
that was a big if when they played the Knicks and they won. They should have won in 4.
Again, the Knicks versus the Thunder. Who are you taking?
Well, obviously the Thunder, but
I'm saying it's a complete difference.
The Pacers have.
We're comparing apples.
I mean, they use their whole bench.
Yes, bro. But
I'm just telling you, it's not gonna be no dog walk like people think. That's all.
The difference is Thibodeau plays like 8 to 9 players. The Thunder
plays 10 to 12.
Exactly what Dagnall does. He plays 11 to 12.
So this is not gonna be a dog walk series.
It is going to be a matchup nightmare for the Pacers, is what I'm saying.
Okay. They just don't match up well. We're not saying that the games won't be close. We're just saying that
fun, but it's going to be a nightmare in the clutch, especially. They're not going to be able to be clutch in that instance anymore.
They're not going to be able to pull off a 12-point comeback like they were against the Knicks or the Bucks or the Cavs. It's just not going to happen.
If you have a deep team like that, you can prevent comebacks very much a lot easier than playing 8 to 9 players a game. That's a fact. That's a known thing. Go back and look at history. Look at what the Celtics did last year. They had players literally surrounding their starting players the entire series, disrupting Luka, disrupting Kyrie, disrupting Lively and Gafford. Couldn't get a bucket off in most of those games because of how deep their team was, and they're able to surround their stars with great role players. That's exactly what the Thunder have right now. And I'm not saying the Pacers don't have that because they do, but the issue is they're not as good as this deep team. It is that simple, bro.
We'll see.